Welcome to Studio 23 Nashville. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, and guess who else we're going to say hello to? Little David Wilkins. How many songs has this guy written?
He's talked about 98 that have been cut.
Oh my gosh,
Amazing
he's a
dude.
monster songwriter
Yeah.
and entertainer. I can't wait for you to meet him.
Welcome to Studio 23 Nashville with your hosts Jennifer Herron and Brian Cumming, and today's very special guest, Little David Wilkins.
Hey, we're kicking back on Studio 23 Nashville here in the living room with Little David Wilkins. And this name is synonymous with so many hit records. I guess the first big one would be the Brenda Lee song, right?
Coming on strong, right?
Yeah. A 5 million seller, is that right?
Well, it's 6. Actually,
Whoa.
I won a Pop BMI award, and they flew me, my wife and I, to New York City. I got to see all the pop stars, you know, like Neil Diamond and, you know, just so many of them. And it was just such a joy, and it's been recorded by 26 different stars, like Barbara Mandrell and people like that, you know, and it's around 6 million sales now, but it's really been good to me.
I can't imagine what that's like for a boy out of Parsons, Tennessee to go to the big city. How overwhelming is that? That's life-changing right there, huh?
Well, I tell you, I'd been to New York on my class trip earlier, and I'd seen it one time, but it's a lot different when you're seeing it when you're winning a BMI award,
Yeah.
I tell you.
That's a big
great.
deal for sure.
It's
You know,
really-
you talk about the BMI award and we talk about all your songwriting. I wondered, has that changed over the years when you go to the mailbox, the size of the check, now that we have downloads and all this crazy stuff?
Unfortunately, it has changed. The streaming doesn't pay worth a dime, not even a dime.
Really?
No, it's really bad. The checks went from way up there to way down there.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I don't like that, but there's nothing I can do about it.
But you keep on going strong.
I've got a new record deal now, and I'm, you know, Jam Records, and I retired, you know, I retired in 1990 to take care of my mother and daddy while my career was still going great. And they were really getting sick, and I retired, and I just thought, you know, I never would go back in the business. And then a guy named Jimmy Adams with Jam Records, he was introduced to me by one of his friends, and he said, you know, I think I want to put you with our, you know, head of production, record production, Cal Freeman, and I think we can cut some hit records on you. So he owns iTube247.com, which has got radio stations, and it's got videos galore. He filmed, I think I've got 9 videos out right now. And he started with me, you know, for 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just been a wonderful relationship.
Another rebirth. You know, so many important people with that magic ear have taken a liking to you and taken you under their wing. You know, I think, gosh, I can't even imagine. You worked with the great Sam Phillips, Sun Records.
That's right, Sam Phillips. Actually, I went to Sam Phillips when I was 19 years old. I did 17 songs out in the middle of the floor with my guitar player. I was playing guitar then. We did 17 songs, and he came out and embraced me, and he said, and I told Owen Bradley about this because they said I didn't ever sing flat and sharp. He said, I've never heard anybody do that many songs and not go flat or sharp. You've got a deal. So anyway, I was blown away. I think I cried, and I did several, you know, probably 20-something songs for Sam. We just couldn't find songs to record. He kept saying, "You've got to learn to write songs." He kept beating that into my head. We only had one release, which was in 1962, and I started with him in '59. And then he sold the company to Shelby Singleton here in Nashville. And he told Shelby, you really ought to sign, I was just David Wilkins then, you ought to sign this boy because I think he got something in his voice to sell records. Shelby signed me. He had been recording all those big hits on Ray Stevens.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Ahab the Arab and all. Shelby was head of Mercury
Squirrel
Records.
Revival.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and he started trying to put me in, I think because I was fat, and he tried to put me in that funny bag, And it did okay, but I got to think as high as 24 one time with just blowing his ear and he'll follow you anywhere.
Oh no.
Does a let's see, does a rattlesnake have hips? Does a chicken have lips? Can an elephant make a living blowing bubbles through his nose? If a blind man can stare and a bald man comb his hair, just blowing his ear and he'll follow you anywhere.
Isn't that great?
I just don't know how I remembered that. It's gonna be a long
So you
time.
were sort of following in the footsteps
But
of
he
Ray
did
Stevens.
that, and
Okay.
then Coming On Strong comes along.
Yeah.
And were you Little David by then? How did
No,
you
no,
get
I'll
the
tell you
name
how that
Little?
happened.
Okay.
Coming On Strong came along. Owen Bradley, the great producer that did Patsy Cline and Conway and Loretta and so many other people. He, after I wrote Coming On Strong, he produced it on Brenda. Actually, she did 5 of my songs. He wanted to sign me, so he bought the contract from Shelby. I was on Plantation Records, and he bought the contract and he signed me. So I was playing music at I was in Alabama, Florence, Alabama, and he called my wife and asked where I could get in touch with me. He called me on the phone at the motel, and he said, "Look," he said, "you know, we've been thinking David Wilkins just don't really, pardon me, seem like a name that people will remember. And what I came up with, this is Owen Bradley talking, what I came up with was Little David. We'd like to name you Little David." And I said, "And leave the Wilkins off?" He said, "Right." I said, "Well, Mr. Bradley, you know, my family has backed me so strongly, furnished the money for me to run to Memphis and Nashville and everything." And I said, "They worked so hard, I would like to keep the family name involved." He said, "I understand exactly where you're coming from." Just this quick, he said it. "Let's do Little David Wilkins." I said, "That sounds fantastic." So anyway, I got back to Nashville. He said, "You're not going to believe this," but he said, "The legal department in New York has told me that we cannot do that without getting a new contract signed." So it took 5 weeks for them to get a new contract out. And I said, why would they have to have a new contract? He said, "Because the legal department says that if we name you Little David Wilkins, you can sue us later if you don't hit, because we named you Little. You can say, your lawyer would say, that's why he didn't hit. And they won't let me do it." So it took 5 weeks then. I had to wait 5 more weeks for my record to come out. We'd already recorded. And that was the story on it. Owen Bradley named me Little David Wilkins.
That's amazing.
Do you want to win friends and influence people? Don't buy a book. Advertise on Studio 23 Nashville. It's easy. Just contact us at studio23nashville@gmail.com.
I'm really curious about this song, If You're Gone. It's a very nice song.
You know what? It's a gigantic pop hit. It was by Matchbox 20. Big group.
Yeah.
I can't think of the guy's name that sings it, but I think he wrote it. And but it's a giant. It was a giant record.
Yeah.
Sold millions of records. And Jimmy Adams had an idea that I could do this song.
Yeah.
So Cal Freeman says, I said, "Cal, can I do this song?" He said, "I can make you do it with that sharp stick."
Yeah. Well, so did Cal take a deliberately different approach from Matchbox?
Well, Cal
20?
don't never copy.
Yeah.
That's one thing you don't want to mention around him. Like copy a record.
Yeah.
He does. We do the melody and all, but he don't copy.
Yeah.
The horns are different in it. They got horns
Yeah.
in theirs, but everything's different.
Okay.
And he's very, very stern on do not copy nothing.
Yeah.
And I just sing in my natural voice and try to own the song if I can.
So
you
is
know.
it a similar tempo and key?
Oh yeah, it's similar.
Okay,
The
so
whole
when you
thing
listen
is.
to Matchbox 20, it's
Yeah, you
it's
listen to
familiar.
that, and they're playing it at Walmart's now.
Yeah.
Walmart stores.
Yeah.
And they say that people think it's Matchbox 20, which was a heck of a compliment for me.
Oh, okay.
But we know they're playing it in, I think it's 1,800 Walmarts.
Wow.
Rogersville, Arkansas is where the head radio station is, and they pipe it
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
stores. And it's really it's really a great, compliment to make them think. Rob Thomas, that's the boy's name.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas
wrote
it, and he's the singer, the head singer.
Yeah.
It is it's a group though.
Yeah.
And it's Jimmy Adams. He picks big songs, and wants to try to get me out of that real country bag. I still do the real country real good.
Well, yeah, I bet you can.
Oh, my baby.
Yeah. Well, now it's Jam Records.
Jam Records. Jimmy Adams Media.
Oh,
What
okay.
that stands for.
And does he have other kinds of artists? I mean, what is?
Yeah, he's got Leon Everett that had Cal Freeman's producing Leon. Leon Everett had, I think it was top 10 records on RCA and one #1 called, I think it was Hurricane. He had #1. Cal's producing him, and other artists too. But
okay, all right.
He was on RCA, and
but I've never heard of a West Tennessee country boy that would cover a Matchbox 20 song. So
I mean, it takes a lot of guts, and I've sure got them.
Well, it fits right in though. I mean, you really sound good with it.
Well, I never would have. I could have never picked it in my life, but Jimmy Adams picks them.
Yeah.
Cal Freeman. Oh, he left the building, I think.
Well, it's a great partnership there. I can feel Cal's influence on the sound and the style of it. It's really nice, it's very nice. You really fit well into the pop genre. You probably didn't expect to, but
I never dreamed in a million years that I would do this.
It sounds
never
good.
In a million years.
Yeah.
I've already lost you. I think you're already gone. I think I'm finally scared now. You think I'm weak. I think you're wrong. I think you're already leaving. Feels like your hand's on the door. I thought this place was an empire. Now I'm relaxed. I can't be sure. I think you're so mean. I think we should try. I think I could need this in my life. I think I'm just scared. I think too much. I know it's wrong. It's a problem I'm feeling if you're gone. Baby, it's time to come home. There's an awful lot of breathing room, but I can hardly move. If you're gone, baby, you need to come home. Come home. There's a little bit of something in me and everything in you. I'll bet you're hard to get over. I'll bet the room just won't shine. I'll bet my thoughts I can stay here, and I'll bet you need more than you mind. I think you're so mean. I think we should try. I think I could need this in my life. I think I'm just scared. I know too much. I can't relate, and that's a problem I'm feeling if you're gone. Baby, it's time to come home. There's an awful lot of breathing room, but I can hardly move. If you're gone, baby, you need to come home. Come home. There's a little bit of something in me and everything in you. I think you're so mean. I think we should try. I think I could need This in my life, I think I'm just scared. I think too much. I know it's wrong, it's a problem I'm feeling if you're gone. Baby, it's time to come home. There's an awful lot of breathing room, but I can hardly move. Now if you're gone, hell baby, you need to come home. Come home. There's a little bit of something in me and everything in you. Everything in you.
Hickman County, Tennessee. It feels a lot like home, or how home should feel. Come by, sit a spell. Soak in the goodness that inspired Minnie Pearl to write about this special place. Visit Hickman County, Tennessee's hidden treasure.
The producers you've worked with, what was so magical? You know, we always hear about Owen Bradley. There are statues all over this town in Nashville, Tennessee. Owen Bradley is responsible for this, that, and the other, all these accolades in Nashville. What was so magical about Owen Bradley in the studio when you worked with him? Was there something in particular that stuck out that you thought, gosh, this guy is a genius?
You know, he was, really. He was a pianist and an orchestra leader. And of course, they've got his piano, him at the piano with his hand up at the Owen Bradley Park. He wore that fisherman's hat.
Yeah.
And I got a picture where he took the hat off, was at Bradley's barn recording, and he stuck it on my head and said, take a picture of this. And he was just laughing like crazy. But he was so good. We never had a short word the time we worked together. And he told me when I first signed with him, he said, because Chris Christopherson and I were great friends, and of course Roger Miller and I. Roger, really, we started running together quick as I came to Nashville. And Chris and I were at the same office. I did write part of a song with Roger Miller, and I'm going to finish it. And I just keep kicking myself saying, why didn't I say, Chris Christopherson, why didn't we sit down and write a song? We had writers' rooms there, at Hubert Long International, that's where I was at. But we never did, And anyway, it was kind of ironic I did not, but I was running around with all these people, and so he told me, said, look, you're good friends with Chris and all these, Roger and everybody. Get in touch with their publishers and have them to send me some songs. So they put them on the old 7.5 reel-to-reel tapes. He listened to them. He said, no, that's crazy. He said, they're sending you the B stuff. They're not sending you what they want the stars to do. They're sending you the B stuff, and I'm not cutting none of it. He said, you wrote Coming On Strong, and you wrote this. I wrote a song for Sonny James and Serendipity Singers and Stonewall Jackson and several people at that point. And he said, you can write your own songs. So he said, you write your own songs. So I wrote my own songs, and one song he asked me to do, Warner Mac's song called My Love for You. It was the only song he ever asked me to do as a favor for him and Warner Mac, who's a great guy. Everything else I wrote myself on 3 different albums on MCA. And Owen just believed in me as a writer. I don't think he would have signed me. Of course, Coming On Strong spoke for itself. And then Where's the Melody came out after that, which was a pop record that he went to L.A. to record. And to be very honest with you, Owen said the horn section would not tune up, and I got mad and walked out of the session. And he said, I cannot stand it. He had perfect pitch. I cannot stand it. He said it was driving me crazy. And he said, I walked out of the session, and nobody knows this but me because Owen told me. He said, I walked out of the session, and it sold about 250,000 records. But I think it's really the best song I really believe that I've ever written, called Where's the Melody? And maybe I can talk Cal Freeman, my producer, and produced it on me. It's got a lot of horn and stuff. It was in an LA cut where Coming On Strong was here at the Quonset Hut in Nashville, where they produced that one. But Owen was, he was revered because he did Patsy Cline, Conway and Loretta, Burl Ives, the Wilburn Brothers, so many other people. And he was the foundation of the Nashville sound, I think, using strings and horns, and he loved to put horns and strings on my sessions, which I loved, you know. They would never be there when I recorded. It was just the A-team, you know, the A-team players, and then he would overdub while I was on the road. He'd overdub horns and violins and things like that.
And get creative and go wild.
And yeah, he would really, because he loved that type of stuff. And
right. Well, I want to hear some more stories about him. I want to hear some more stories about some of these encounters you've had, some of your songs, and some of your success. We're going to be right back with some more little David Wilkins. He's lived an amazing life. Some great stories here, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Straighten up and flat right.
Now available, Come Out Swingin', the new CD by the Brian Cumming Jazz Quartet. Come Out Swingin' is available at Studio23Nashville.com and all major digital retailers.
Say, come out swinging.
Come Out Swingin' by the Brian Cumming Jazz Quartet. Get yours today.
David, it's a real pleasure to have you here on the show.
It's great to be here.
I want to hear the story about One Monkey Don't Stop No Show.
I was playing at Bad Bob's Club in Memphis, Tennessee, and Jerry Lee Lewis would come, and we worked a lot together around the country, but he would always come when I came there. And I ran over there before, because he'd get there early. I'd run over there to Bad Bob's before the show and to see if Jerry was there. And as I came back out, there was probably, I'd say, a dozen people outside fighting. This boy and girl were fighting. Good-looking young people.
Yeah.
And they were just, you know, really saying bad things to each other. And she just said, "Do you know, the heck with you? One monkey don't stop no show." And she just left. I can see her walking away now. So I thought, one monkey don't stop no show. So I ran to the, Dr. Franklin that owned the Bad Bob's. He owned about 5 motels around there, and we stayed at a motel right next, back at the back door nearly. And I ran to the room and wrote that before showtime. I get to Nashville, that was Saturday night. I get to Nashville on Monday, called Owen Bradley about probably 11 o'clock in the morning. And I said, "I just wrote a song that I want you to hear." He said, "What's the name of it?" I said, "One Monkey Don't Stop No Show." He said, "Sing it for me." And I said, "You mean without music?" And he said, "Sure, just sing it on the phone." So I sung it on the phone, and he said, "That's your next record." So we just had a song just had been put out called "Not Tonight, I've Got a Headache." My wife wasn't too happy about that, even though I didn't write about her. So she was thrilled to death. But Owen Bradley, Polly, his secretary, set up a session for, this was on Monday, for Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, we cut One Monkey Don't Stop No Show, and it became my biggest chart record on MCA Records.
When you wrote it, were you around a piano, or did you know what key?
No, I wrote it a cappella.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea what a good key would be?
Well, not really, but, you know, I did the melody, you know, just a cappella. I didn't have a guitar in the room or anything like that.
It sure feels good.
So it was just, well, thank you. I'm very fortunate to, most of my songs, I think, just come, you know, just the better ones, you know, when I have to really concentrate and work on them and think about it. It seems like they don't usually come out as well.
Well, I like how this one fits in the classic old rock and roll groove. You know,
Well, I appreciate that.
Sure. Well, let's have some fun with it.
Ready to go, brothers? You're the monkey that's on my back, always talking about making tracks, telling me that you're gonna leave. I think your stage is to torture me, but let me tell you something you may not know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. If you're gonna go, go ahead and go. I can live without it, and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. Baby, I love you more and more. Love ain't like love was before.
show and love's a game. One monkey don't stop no show. You're gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. Tell me how to run my life when you ain't running yours halfway right. You try to tell me every breath to take. You try to tell me every move to make. You believe that the wheels won't go. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. You gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show. If you still feel the urge to leave and you don't want to live with me, tell me now, watch me go. The curtain's going up for the second show. One monkey don't stop no show. You're gonna go ahead and go. I can live without it and I want you to know. One monkey don't stop no show. One monkey don't stop no show.
Woo! Ain't that the truth? It feels like it came out of West Tennessee.
West Tennessee, that's right.
That's what I
Carl
mean.
Perkins country.
Yeah, it really is, and that's where you were raised.
That's right. I used to go to Carl's house all the time and get advice from him and all, and he was just wonderful to me.
I just love the way
Children were
that
in
sounded.
diapers then, you know. I'm 40 years old now. And I remember back then.
Yeah. Man, that's great. Welcome back to Studio 23 Nashville in the living room with Jennifer and David Wilkins. Little David Wilkins.
Little. See how little I am?
That's the name on the contract. All right, well, David, it's really a treat to have you here to hear these stories about the life that you have lived in Nashville when giants roamed the earth, like Roger Miller and Chris Christopherson, Owen Bradley, and you were working and knowing all these people. I want to know what it's like just walking like Lion Balls and Tootsies and these places down on Broadway, hanging out with Roger Miller and Chris Christopherson.
I tell you, I never drank, you know, I never drank, but the guys would drink beer and stuff, and I never did drugs, and I was around, you know, all the time, and we just were great friends. Roger Miller and I, with Hubert Long, Ray Stevens and his wife, and Walter Hines and his wife would go to the stock car races out at the fairgrounds every Tuesday night. This went on for a long time, and Roger would always sit on my right side. He would put a 6-pack of beer in between his legs in a paper bag. He would drink beer, and it was rapid fire. You couldn't hardly get a breath in between. He was hitting this ear with jokes that were funny. And I'm telling you, I've told this to a lot of people. When I got up on Wednesday morning, my chest was always hurting because I had laughed so much.
He was the greatest guy
in the world, and you know,
he was funny.
His last album he did with Jimmy Bowen at Emerald Studios, he called me and said, I want you to come to this album session. I went at 8 o'clock at night, got out at 8 o'clock the next morning. He's doing an album with Bowen. And so the last time I was at the Palomino Club in Los Angeles, North Hollywood on Lankershim Boulevard, played there many times. Well, the last time I played there, Roger came to see me. And I know I'd been telling my band, man, me and Rogers, we're tight, you know.
Yeah.
And I know I could see them looking at each other like, yeah, right. Well, Roger came in, hugged me, and we hung together all night except when I was on stage.
Yeah.
And they had a special room back there that we sat in, and I had to put all the stuff he bought on my tab. My God, I owed him money when I got through. No, I didn't really, but he was still, I wasn't going to let him buy nothing coming to see me like that. And Pat Boone was there that night, and I met Clint Eastwood there.
Whoa,
and I met Governor Brown, who's governor now, there, and the stars would come to the Palomino in North Hollywood.
That was the hangout.
That was the hangout for them, and it was just a great thing. And I would do 2 tours a year out in California and 2 tours a year up in Canada, because I was on the road 17 years, averaging about 250 shows a year. They worked me to death, but I loved it. I loved it. Band in the bus, and I had 2 employees. Both of them, unfortunately, passed away last year, Jody Johnson and Tim Marshall. Both were with me 12 years. Yeah. Now, living on a bus,
oh, yeah,
you got to be family to do that. Yeah. But I just thought I'd throw that in. And but anyway, me and Roger we had a long story together. But the thing that probably really kind of blew my mind was Chris had not had any hits, and when I did Coming On Strong, and so they wanted me to play a part in a movie down in Florida, and I went down there, and Mel Tillis was in it, and David Houston, and Del Reeves, and several country music stars, and I went down there and did the movie, and while I was gone, I did Coming On Strong. I was a racehorse owner. George Jones didn't show up. He was going to do the races on. He didn't show up, so that night they came to my door and knocked and said, "You're doing Jones's part tomorrow, and we're going to name the horse Coming On Strong." I had 2 racehorses in a boxcar. We were in a train boxcar.
What was the name of the movie? Was it Nashville?
The movie was Cotton Picking Chicken Pickers.
Okay.
And we did it in Fort Myers, Florida. Anyway, I was down there and did this movie and stayed about a month. And in the meantime, Coming On Strong hit the top 20 in the pop charts on Billboard. And I was over at Hubert Long office, and Mary John Wilkins, he was writing for Mary John Wilkins, and her and Hubert Long came in together when, for the good times. And Roger wasn't having big hits, and the country artists, people don't know it, were recording his songs, and they weren't hitting. So Ray Price hit, with that one, and then they all just started hitting. He's probably, in my opinion, one of the greatest writers that ever lived. And I haven't seen him in a long time, but he grabbed me by both arms, facing me, right here on his arm. He grabbed me and said, "You know what, I'm so proud for you." He said, "Gosh," he said, "I'd give anything in the world to have a pop hit or just a hit song." And then a few months later, he was up by the moon. And we've laughed about that before, but when I see him, but that's Chris Christopherson telling me that.
Amazing.
I've never told that before on any show, but I'll tell you like it is.
It's amazing how he said he was happy for you too. Yeah. I feel like in your generation, y'all were all buddies and all working together for this goal. Yeah.
If I'd have just asked him, why don't we sit down and write a song? But I never did it.
Well, David, you're an artist and a writer. You've got such a track record. Did you think of yourself as a writer when you wrote Coming On Strong?
I became a writer to try to get to what I wanted to be as an artist.
For yourself?
I became a writer to be an artist. And
so how did you learn to be a writer? Did you listen to songs?
A guy named Billy Graves, that was assistant A&R man for Capitol Records, with Marvin Hughes being the main A&R man. My mother was named Graves, and he was Graves, and he just took a liking to me. Billy was one of the country lads on the Jimmy Dean Show. Dick Flood and Billy Graves. Jimmy Dean Show was a big hit back then, and they were the country lads. He took a liking to me, and I played him some of my songs, and he said, "You've got some good ideas, but," he said, "you need to learn song structure." He said, "This is weak here, and that's weak there, and the bridge ain't quite right." And I would go home to Parsons, Tennessee, and I would write most of the time about 15 songs, which you can't do a good job writing 15 songs and playing music. When I started coming up here on Sunday night, maybe I'd be with Billy on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and leave early enough on Wednesday to get back to play music for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. And so he said, "You need to learn song structure, and I can teach you that." So he would, I would go in his office about 11 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Leave early Wednesday. We might stay to the nighttime otherwise. And he would tear those songs apart and say, no, this is not strong enough, this is not right, and that. And I learned song structures from Billy Graves, and I'll always be grateful.
Amazing. Yeah. Now, you mentioning all these names of people you knew and stuff. Ronnie Millsap kind of opened a door for you, right? Was it him winning an award that kind of opened a door for you?
Ronnie Millsap won Male Vocalist of the Year in 1975, and they were putting the grand piano on the stage for the Statler Brothers and Tammy Wynette, and the guy was with it, and he would tune it. They had a big box-type truck they hauled it on, and I thought they'd take that away from me, but they kept it the whole 18 months I was with them, and it was really a wonderful deal because I got in front of tens of thousands of people.
So when Ronnie won his award, he got off this tour?
No, what he did, they started his own show.
Oh, and so then you took his place on what tour?
I took his spot. I couldn't fill his shoes, but I took his spot.
And who were you touring with?
With Tammy Wynette and with the Statler Brothers. Statler Brothers was as big a group.
What a lineup.
I've never seen an empty seat in any house. I don't care where we played. It was something else.
Oh.
They were so kind to me, and Tammy and I, we just kind of had a habit of when the guy was touching the piano up, we'd sit on stage before the show and we'd talk. She'd sit on a stool and I was sitting on a stool, and we just sat there and talk, and I just loved Tammy Wynette. She was a wonderful person and one heck of a singer.
Uh-huh.
But she was just really, she was a dynamic person. So thank the Lord I was opening the shows. I didn't have to follow any of those people. And Millsap was opening the shows too, but Millsap and I have been friends a long, long time, and I hadn't seen Millsap in years. And Johnny Russell, Grand Ole Opry star, the best. He and I were friends for over 26 years. I mean, big friends. And Sheb Woolley there for a long time. We all ran together. But anyway, I was with Johnny and Roy Acuff's. I was on the Opry a lot back then, and I was in there, and I said, Ronnie. He said, Little David. That's how his perception was on voices.
Yeah.
I could not believe it. I mean, I was shocked all night long.
After all those years. That's amazing. I want to talk to you about a song that you inspired in just a bit here. So stay with us on Studio 23 Nashville. Little David Wilkins. Got some great stories.
Be the envy of the neighborhood. Make your friends jealous. Be the first on your block to get official swag from Studio 23 Nashville, Pinkerton Productions, and Brian Cumming. Just visit our store at the bottom of the page and order yours today.
Would you dance if I ask you to dance? Would you run and never look back? Would you cry if you saw me crying? Would you save my soul tonight? Would you tremble if I touched your lips? Would you laugh? Oh, please tell me this. Now, would you die for the one you love? Hold me in your arms tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can't take my breath away. Would you swear that you'll always be mine? Would you lie? Would you run and hide? Am I in too deep? Have I lost my mind? I don't care, you're here tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can't take my breath away. Oh, I just wanna hold you. I just wanna hold you. Oh yeah. Am I in too deep? Have I lost my mind? Well, I don't care. You're here tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will be with you forever. You can't take my breath away. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can't take my breath away. You can't take my breath away. I can be your hero.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit earlier about some of the songs you've written, but you also inspired a huge hit. Tell us about that, T-R-O-U-B-L-E.
Oh, yeah.
Are you trouble?
I kept bugging Jerry Chestnut. We were great friends, and we wrote a few songs together. And he's one of the greatest writers that ever lived, I think. Wrote, you know, songs for all the stars, A Good Year for the Roses for Jones, and I couldn't even start. He brought Jerry Lee's career back with Another Place, Another Time, you know, and so many, I mean, probably hundreds of song cuts. And I've been bugging Jerry. I said, man, why don't you write me a hit? And I was a rocker back then, more so, I guess, than anything else, and just sung straight country. But he wrote me a song called T-R-O-U-B-L-E. He had seen me playing. I played at Ireland's restaurant, Steak and Biscuit restaurant here in Nashville, for 4 years before I, you know, started out on the road. And they would come. I had so many music people, Charlie Pride and Bobby Goldsboro and all these people would come to see me, at, you know, at night. And that was the one on 21st Avenue by Vanderbilt University. It was right on off of Music Row. And he kept coming over there, and I kept bugging him, and that's what he tells you, bugging him, to write me a hit song. And by George, he did in 1975. And Lamar Fike, that was with Elvis Presley longer than anybody. He started with Elvis as one of the original Memphis Mafia. He was my manager for some 10 years. And so Lamar got so excited over it, he wanted Elvis to hear the song.
Oh, no.
I was going to record it. He wanted Elvis to hear it. So he took it to Elvis, and Elvis says, oh, my God, don't let nobody hear that. That's a rock standard. Don't let nobody hear that, because that's going to be my next single. Anyway, there went my song. But now Cal Freeman just produced it on me in this Hero album. Yeah. I got as good a cut as I can get on it.
And people think that you're stealing an old Elvis song.
Right.
Yeah, and Travis Tritt, you know, had probably the biggest hit on it.
Yeah,
but Elvis, you know, it was, he stopped that. Elvis was going to do 5 of my songs, and after he got back off the tour, he didn't make. And he wanted to stay at home a month, and then me come in for a month and stay with him while he recorded, because he had the recording studio on one of those mobile trucks out back.
Oh, wow.
And I did. I was driving the booking agency crazy, moving my shows, but you know, he didn't make the tour. I didn't get. You know, that was probably the biggest. Well, him dying hurt me worse than anything, but that's probably the biggest pitfall of my career, is not getting those 5 songs recorded. He was gonna. He said the next single would be "He Cries Like a Baby," and Ronnie Dove had already cut that. I wrote it by myself, and then I recorded on my album for Owen Bradley, my first MCA album. But that was really a shock, and I kind of got a little upset at Lamar though for playing the trouble for him.
I know.
There went that, but anyway, I finally got to do it after all these years. That was 75 when that happened.
Oh,
Amazing.
I was only 12 years old, so I was a little young to do the
That's why
song,
he's
but
little,
I
David
think I
Wilkins.
could have got it done.
I love
you
it.
talked about working with the Statler brothers. When they were on stage, did they get into the Lester Moran and the Roadhog business?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to tell you, I would go to the back of the auditorium. There was never a seat.
Yeah.
I'd go to the back of the auditorium and listen to them every time.
Yeah.
They got a little risque with some of the stuff they did. It was really funny,
Yeah.
but it was, I'm going to tell you something. They were one of the best acts that ever lived. Tammy would come on after me, and then, of course, they'd have a little intermission after that, and then they would close, but they really closed. When they closed the show, it had been done.
I had always wondered, because they were always just right on, you know, and their
Oh, my
timing.
gosh, yeah.
If they rehearsed this to death to get it down, and people have told me, no, they didn't.
I don't think they rehearsed it.
It was just natural.
And the way they played the guitars out of tune on the Roadhog album was so. Of course, Jerry Kennedy, you know, the great producer, he was producing them, and he probably did that. But it was so good. But that's times I'll never forget. And Conway and Lowrider were great to work with, and Marty Robbins was probably the biggest trip because he was always playing jokes on me.
Really?
Man, yeah, I'd be over at the office and he would crawl on his hands and knees, and I'm sitting in the chair like this, and he would grab my breeches leg and scream loud as he could, and I would just jump out of the chair. And nowadays when somebody does it, I would just go, I just have an excitement level like that.
Yeah.
But Marty was one of the greatest guys to work with in the world too. All the people I worked with were. And, you know, it was just, we had some great times together.
You hung with the great Ralph Emery as well.
Ralph Emery, when I did the Sun record, that was in '62. I brought that record. I didn't know the difference. I took it to R&B stations. I took it to every station in the phone book in Memphis and Nashville and Alabama and all over the country. I didn't realize what the categories were. Yeah. And I took it to John R. here on the WLAC, and you know what? He played the record.
Good for you.
First thing I did is I brought it, because I was a big Ralph Emery fan, I brought it up to WSM on the hill out there, on Knob Hill, Knob Road or whatever. And he welcomed me in. I said, I'm David Wilkins, and I got this record on Sun Records. And he said, well, let's hear it. So he played it, and he talked to me, and he found out he was from down close to Parsons, you know. Well, I did know the name. But he was from down close to Parsons, and he took a liking to me. And I was on his early morning show a lot. So what I would do is, Marty Robbins was playing the piano and singing on his show all night. And he started letting me do that. I was just me and the piano, and I was singing songs. And I would stay with him all night long on his all-night show, and we'd go straight downstairs to the TV studio, or I don't know if it's straight or not, but we would go downstairs to the TV studio, and I'd do the morning show. Been up all night.
Oh my gosh.
Then go home and just pass out, you know. But Ralph was so good to me, and I was on Nashville Now, I'm going to say approximately 15 times. He was so good to me, and it was just, I've just had a very blessed life with people being good to me. And I tried to return the favors. You know, I just don't have any enemies that I know of.
Good.
I brag about it. I think I've kept every friend I ever had. And that's the main thing in life.
That makes you a success, sir, besides all of your great hit songs and your
Thank you.
amazing recordings.
Lots of stories.
Well, I love to tell the stories.
And you're making new ones now, right? New album?
I'm making new stories right now, yes sir. Jimmy Adams came along with Jam Records and iTube247.com, which reaches worldwide. We're selling records all over the world now. Kind of a new twist on how you sell records. And we're selling a lot of hard copies as well as downloads. But I've had, Cal Freeman has the head of A&R there. He's produced Farther Down the Road album on me first, and then this Hero album is the one we have now. And by the way, it's got Trouble on it, Trouble.
Oh, okay.
It's got Trouble on it.
Finally.
And all the songs I did today on the show that I've already done, they're all on the Hero album. And I'm real proud of this album. I think it's the best thing I've ever done. And I'm real excited. And with people buying it, you know, I was going to bring one with me, but we are out of albums. We've sold out.
Wow.
The sales department told me, said we just sent out the last 3 this week. They told me that night before last, and they're getting more made now, you know. So I'm just, you know, I mean, I'm excited, but I didn't have one to bring with me. I'm sorry.
I've got to get a copy because you stepped outside of your comfort zone a little bit on this one, didn't you?
I did, and that was Jimmy Adams' fault and Cal Freeman. Jimmy picks out these songs, big pop songs that I never dreamed I would do, like, you know, big pop songs. And I would have never dreamed of doing them, but they had faith in me, Jimmy and Cal, and I did the very best I could. I hope people like them.
David, is it a concept album? Is Hero, is that the title?
Heroes, the title of it, and Enrique Iglesias song.
Right.
And we have a Matchbox 20 song that I did today.
Yeah.
They were a big pop group. And then we have the Richard Marx song, Right Here Waiting.
Is it kind of all building on a theme there then of hero, being somebody's hero, or?
Well, Hero is I Can Be Your Hero, Baby.
Yeah.
And I really
Okay, so
can,
it's that
Jennifer.
song. He's woeing me now.
Yeah.
You know what? You said, I didn't think I could sing those songs, but I say you guys, like you guys that came through Sun Records. Sam Phillips had an ear.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of heart and soul, right, in their voice? I mean, when they sing, I mean, it'll bring you to tears
Well,
or
thank
joy.
you.
I mean, you've got that feeling. So with those songs, those pop songs singing about love and stuff, I mean, he pulls it out, doesn't he?
I
Brian?
feel
Yeah.
the love. I've been married 50-something years, and I feel the same woman, of course. And
Yeah, that's an important question in music.
I love people. I love my wife. I love music, and I really got a bang out of doing these songs. I love to do sensual type love songs, and I really am just thankful that after retiring for 25 years, I'm thankful that Jimmy Adams, Jam Records, and Cal Freeman gave me a new, fresh start career.
Yeah.
And I'm just having a ball.
Are you touring too, or just the album?
I'm doing some touring. Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to South Dakota and some places other that don't have contracts yet. That's booked up there, but I've done some shows in West Tennessee this past year, and you know I don't want to do a lot of shows. I just want to do one here and there. If they pay me good money, I'll do it. If they don't, I'm not going. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to stay right here, and just be with people like you guys. But it's just really a great thing to be on the show, and y'all have been so kind to me and let me tell some stories that you can bank on.
Yeah.
They really happened, and I've just had a long history with great stars, and
Yeah.
working with Jerry Lee Lewis is one of the greatest things I think I did, because I love Jerry Lee, and he loves me too. And we were playing in Atlanta, Georgia for 4 days together, and I was opening the shows, and we were in the Hyatt Regency Hotel up around the 10th, 11th floor. We're riding up the elevator together, and he calls everybody else Killer too, and he always called me, "Hey, Killer." And so he and I are in the elevator together, just us. He said, you know what I like about you, Killer? And I said, no, what's that, Jerry Lee? He said, you're always a gentleman. And I try to live up to that.
Nice. All right, one thing we still need from little David Wilkins, a song with Chris Christopherson. So you get to work on that. We'll pick up your Heroes album.
Yeah.
And you come back and visit us again,
I wish
okay?
I could do that.
We need the next
Chris,
chapter.
where are you? I got to see
Chris,
you, man.
call us.
I got the titles if you'll help me write them.
Thanks for joining us again on Studio 23 Nashville.
Yes, and thank you, David.
It's my pleasure, believe me. Thank you so much.